Ozzy
Oh,
back then, and it was real. It just blew my mind,
yeah.
And I was a big AC/DC fan, big Aerosmith fan, Hendrix, Zeppelin. But I saw one of my first concerts was Ozzy, and I saw Randy Rhoads, and I was like, I was already playing guitar then, and like that's something I could do.
Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
Hey! Wow. I'm like, well, you got a good rock star on there. Who else is on the show? Who else did they get? Wow.
It's just the guys from the Muppets. We're like, let's bring out Electric Mayhem. How you doing, man?
That new Geico commercial.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I love that thing.
I like that.
Anyway, hi guys.
Yeah.
What's happening? Tom, what city are you in? Oh,
I'm over in Vegas.
He's in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Vegas right now, but I'll be back in New York shortly, I promise.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Vegas. That's a funky airport to be stuck in. The last one in the country you can smoke.
Oh shit. That's hilarious that they all have to wear masks, but they can smoke inside the airport.
Yeah.
That must be driving people crazy. How many people in the airport have little holes in their mask right now, Tom, that are just like...
What was crazy is my cousin pointed to somebody. He's like, this guy's smoking in the airport. What's going on here? Earlier today. I didn't even realize that they were allowed to.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm an ex-smoker, so I know where all the... Well,
Nice.
like, as they were dwindling down, like where the last of the Mohicans were.
Yeah. And the other nice thing... Oh, I was going to say the other nice thing is I think weed's recreational out here. So you smell it. There's a cloud that basically Vegas right now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That sounds like my bus. There's just always this lingering kind of wafting, like someone's always, just had a hit or taking a hit, Anyway, so what's going on in Dystopia tonight?
Not much, man. I mean, we're just fucking hanging out. We were close to our 100th episode, so we're really kind of getting excited. Wow. Yeah,
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's crazy. It kind of blew by. That's what the thing that we came up to it really fucking quickly. So it was awesome.
How long have you been on the air?
Since mid-pandemic, right? I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or January,
well,
or maybe
really launched January.
January, yeah. Okay, so then I don't know when
Wow, that's a lot of episodes for.
A
little over almost 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
Or a year.
Or maybe a year.
1 year.
No,
1
year.
1 year.
Wow, that's great.
And we've been blessed. We've had some really great guests, like some super legends, right? So like Tommy Chong, Ed Asner. There was some really amazing personalities.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I saw you had a Ghostbuster on.
Yes, Ernie Hudson.
Yes,
he was fucking awesome.
Cool.
Great dude.
I'm gonna be checking that out soon with my son.
Oh,
that's
nice,
coming
man.
out
You're
soon.
gonna love it. If I feel like anybody who loved the original of that movie is gonna just fall in love with this one.
Yeah, how could you not?
Yeah.
How could you not love the original?
Right? It's so good.
Or you're dead, unless you're dead inside and have no sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And it was nice that it was Jason Reitman and I, like father and son, that worked on this one too. You could kind of tell.
Oh, yeah. The Reitman family.
Yeah, man.
Legends.
Yes.
In the comedy game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Paul Rudd's in it. Who cannot love Paul Rudd? The dude doesn't age.
Yeah. He's the handsomest man on the planet, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. And are you into comic books and all the nerd stuff? Because we're totally into that type of stuff.
I'm not so much into the comic books per se. I didn't grow up collecting them, but I can tell you this, that when I I don't do drugs and alcohol anymore. And after a show, I retreat to my bus, and I, after I hit the showers, I get into movies, and I stream or binge, and a lot of it is uh admittedly superhero shit. Like I had a lot going on in my life. Here, a disclaimer: I had a lot going on in my life, okay, pal. And seeing an underdog kind of rise up and conquer, I just needed that story somewhere in my life,
Nice.
So I would stream everything from all the what's that?
Marvel.
Well, I would stream the Marvel stuff. The DC stuff was a little bit newer.
Yeah.
Titans.
Oh,
I've even gotten into, what was the one that was filmed in Canada? It was kind of like a the Boys.
Yeah, The Boys.
Yeah, I love that
The Boys.
show,
Okay,
that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Punisher.
John Bernthal as the Punisher is like the fucking best I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, that guy's great.
He's a good badass.
Yeah, and they're bringing him back for the movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
awesome.
They cut a deal, so that's incredible.
So, yeah, I guess I kind of geek out on that, or nerd.
Was it cool? Were you geeking out on it around the time you guys got one of the Buckcherry songs in the Avengers film?
Yeah, I was. I think around that time, when that came out, DVDs were still in style, and I was, we had these things in our bunks, these antiquated DVD players, and they were on the ceiling. Now, and the screen about this big, and I literally had boxes. We would go to used DVD stores in college.
Nice.
I would get The Wire, or I would get Deadwood.
Deadwood's the best show.
Yeah, cocksucker.
Yeah.
And then when Netflix started to, started coming up, that's when Jessica Jones?
Yeah, Jessica Jones.
Okay, so there was all the ones connected with her. So, Daredevil.
Yes.
Was it Daredevil?
Yeah,
Jessica
Cox.
Jones, Punisher.
Yeah.
All I blew through all those. I started on the true crime. Well, not true crime, but the kind of the crime serial killer whodunit kind of.
Oh man,
they were Bridge.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Did you see Evil Genius?
Of course.
That blew me the fuck away.
How are these people in like
what we were talking about backstage, man? Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It just dawned on me.
Now that makes sense. You
know,
like it's this kind of trashy, but they're evil geniuses. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yins guys, I want you to tape a bomb to this guy.
Right. Exactly. It was
only in
nuts.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
or it'd be Florida. I think that's the
Florida.
The Northeast. Florida of the Northeast.
The Florida of the Northeast. That's pretty great. Yeah,
so,
technically, Tom's River. I grew up in Tom's River, which is basically the Florida of New Jersey. So it's just, it's like a red area. They're all really old people. I think Tom's River has a higher senior citizen population than the state of Florida.
No one does. Is that true?
I swear to God, I think it's true. When I mean, it was a long time ago when I graduated high school, but that's what they said back then.
Well,
I don't know if it was just to scare the shit out of us.
We were just there in Jersey. Is that anywhere near the Starland Ballroom?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really good. It's like a half hour from me.
All right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that place.
There's a restaurant there. Ding, 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 ding. A plug here. A friend of mine. It's called Bella Javine's.
Oh.
And fantastic, wonderful family and wonderful Italian food.
Oh,
so
sweet, man.
if you're in the neighborhood, check that out.
Yeah, absolutely will. Do you like? Do you have places that you love to continuously go to every year, or is it just a blast just to be able to travel anywhere?
We've been, I do have my favorites. I mean, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah.
There's places that we that just haven't gotten entertained. Like all of them on this run, we've done 100 shows since June, and all of them were starved for entertainment. You know, and so they were all nice places to go. I had a weird dynamic. I put on some weight, during the pandemic.
Okay. I feel like we all
many
did.
of us did. Yeah, like many of us did.
I feel
and I'm a little older now, not a lot, but a little older, and it wasn't coming off in my normal routine. So I started. I got on this specific diet.
So did I just recently. I'm curious what yours is.
Mine is real similar to keto.
So is mine. I wonder if we're on. I swear to God, we might be on the same one.
Okay. Well, so from traveling that in Iowa, unless you get to even a Piggly Wiggly, like you can't get the stuff that you need to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was, I forgot the point of this, but traveling is great to see the people. It's just getting the food that I needed to get.
Yeah, man.
What am I talking about? Getting the food that I needed to get because I'm such a prima donna diva. Oh God. That made it a little difficult.
Yeah.
That was my long way of just I do have my favorites. All the A markets, just like you. All the A markets are the best. I have my places, like even Chicago and New York. Even like in Houston, there's great Vietnamese restaurants. So yeah.
I really always. I was going to say, because you mentioned food a couple of times traveling. I really always wanted there to be some kind of like app for performers, because that's all anybody, either musicians, comedians, we all talk about where we've been based on how good the food is in the area.
Right.
And I think that'd be great to be able to kind of like log in and be like, oh yeah, this is where so-and-so goes to eat. And this is where, I thought it'd be like a great place.
I think what we need to do is do 5-minute segments, like and just start, have like a cloud place where we can all just upload our 3 to 5 minute, or maybe 3 minutes, 1 to 3 minute review on, let's say, because like I spent the summer and the fall in B&C markets. You know what I mean? And fine. But there are, I wish I remembered the names, but I remember being at this one place. I was like, this was the best restaurant, and it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And those are the best finds, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like even today, I went, because I was stuck at an airport. I was like, we're just going to walk. And I found a ramen spot that I never would have found in Vegas.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere. And
we could do an app on just ramen. The best ramen in the country. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a lot of my friends, ramen's a thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I found this place. I don't know if it was in Iowa or somewhere Midwest, but it's like the best burger. I had foie gras on it.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
It's
so good. It's so inhumane. But
I find that if it's hard to say, it's really good.
Yeah.
Right? So you were talking about Chicago before. I loved going to Chicago when I used to do the Laugh Factory out there. When we had Ed Asner on the show, he's originally also from Chicago.
Legend.
Yeah, and he said Chicago made him a rebel. And I asked him what about Chicago made him a rebel, and he said the music. Do you feel the same way?
You know, I don't. It's tough to say about the music. It has its own scene, and it's
Right.
changed drastically over the years.
Mhm.
You know, and there's definitely you know, Chicago rock music snobs, if you can
Yeah.
believe that. It's like, dude, it's rock. You know, it's rock and roll. You know, I
Right.
remember, you know, being there, and you know, Buckcherry. I wasn't in Buckcherry yet, and I had some friends that were, you know, they're into Cheap Trick and the
Oh,
Beatles,
yeah.
Material Issue, and they come from the whole Smashing Pumpkins side of the world.
Mhm.
And you know, Buckcherry was breaking out, and they're like, oh, they're like AC/DC, man, you know, they tattoos, and you know, like common denominator kind of band. And it's just like, dude, they fucking rock,
Yeah.
you know, and everyone has a good time when they go see them. So shut up,
Yeah,
you
man.
know.
It's a good time.
And you know, and then fast forward, you know, 5 years later, we had, you know, I joined the band, and we had sold 1 million records, and all those guys are still on their bar stools in the middle of Wicker Park.
Isn't
You
that
know,
great?
so you
That's
know,
just the best.
go pound sand.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you, before you joined Buckcherry, you were touring with Aerosmith and oh my God,
Kiss.
yes, Aerosmith
Kiss.
and Kiss. How much fun was that?
Yeah, Tom. Yeah. Yeah, I was in a band on Arista. I was a hired gun. So I would go from band to band or label to label and kind of
Hmm.
fill in, do the record, do the first few tours, and then the single would come out. And if it didn't chart, then I would be looking for another, you know, gig
Nice.
within months. But yeah, I was in a band on Arista. They were called Automatic Black, and everything on paper looked great. I auditioned. They were from Pennsylvania, and
That's so great.
yeah, they were from Philly, and they
Oh
would
man.
like to wipe up the water with the towel. And Yin's guys, and we our manager was Doc McGee,
Okay.
Oh
and
wow, legendary.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
incredible.
so he's like the Al Capone of rock, and he was just like, put these guys on with Kiss, and Kiss was doing a tour with Aerosmith. So here I am, you know, like fresh out of the gate with these guys. I get the gig, do the album, and then we're literally open. You know, like I'm walking down the corridor, and there's, you know, Gene Simmons, you know, Steven Tyler, Joe Perry. I'm like, oh my god, you know, like
Wow.
I'm like. I've made it, you know. Meanwhile, I'm fucking broke. I can't even eat while I'm on this tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's, you know, and then I think, and then by the end of that tour, we were it was December or something like that. We did the Fox New Year's Eve party
Oh
with
wow.
Ryan Seacrest. We were the band to look out for in 2004, and that's when Clive Davis and his revenge shut down Arista. He, you know, because
Wow.
Arista let him go because he was older. You know, he
Right.
turned 65 or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so he started J Records, and then he ran the Universal umbrella, shut down Arista, and then we were all out of gigs. You know,
God
all
damn.
out of so that all that wonderfulness went away almost. You know, I had like the best 3 months of my life, and then I was literally I went back with a girl that I was dating that I broke up with.
Hmm.
And she was on the California-Arizona border.
Wow.
In this methy little town, just like Breaking Bad. And here I am. I just conquered the world with Kiss and Aerosmith, and now I'm cleaning RVs.
Wow, yeah.
And there's older couple snowbirds cracking a beer, just watching me work. You missed a spot, that kind of thing.
I used to live out in Arizona, and I love that to call them snowbirds. I haven't heard snowbirds in so fucking long.
Yeah, it's that's the Florida, like my mom wants to be a snowbird now. She's in the Midwest, and she's gonna be here. It's starting to get cold, so she's gonna be out here real soon. So.
Yeah. When you were doing the RV thing, I mean, were you still going out trying to search for another band, or did you think like
absolutely?
Okay, cool,
I always from the late 90s, I would, I mean, that's always the goal, right? For all of us to you go out and get the gig and keep the gig and grow the gig. But, it wasn't in the cards for me. And I had a problem, drinking and using at the time, and didn't know why my life wasn't working. That was ground zero for all my problems. Anyway, I'd been signed and dropped 3 or 4 times up from the late 90s till about 2005.
Okay.
And that's and one of those bands, let me back up. In the early 90s, when I was trying to get a gig in Hollywood, my roommate, I started rooming with this guy named Josh Todd, and we used to work at the same place called Aardvarks. It was a used clothes store in Venice. Anyway, we both have bad drinking problems, and then go our separate ways. Years later, we stay friends, but years later, he calls me and says, "Yeah, man, I'm in this band called Buckcherry, and I'm on one of the first bands that I was signed with. I was on Warner Brothers." Like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." And then I end up seeing him. They were on MTV all the time. So fast forward another 5 years. He was in a solo band. And then I subbed in that, and that's how I kind of segued into Buckcherry.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Oh.
But what was your intro into music altogether? Sorry, Tom.
No, that was actually you're right on the same path as me. I was gonna say,
nice.
Did you always want to be a rock star, or did you see yourself going another path?
No, actually, I wanted to be when I was a kid. I wanted to be a comedian.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude.
I can't. I remember seeing like Red Fox and George Carlin and listening to the Richard Pryor albums in the basement with my buddy. And but then I got older, and I talked myself right out of that.
It makes sense.
Like it was very scary. Once I knew what it was all about, you're going up there, the lone wolf, and you're just out there naked.
Yeah.
It didn't seem appealing at all.
Yeah, it's one of the things I envy about either bands or even like improv groups is that sometimes they have each other when the shit goes down.
Absolutely.
And when you're just comedians are just like, "Is it just me? That's it."
Yeah. And I really admire the ones that can break, transcend, just all the belly. I used to go to the Comedy Store and go on that free. It was Monday nights that were free.
Yep.
And just buy drinks or
But
I would sit there and I loved it. Like Dice would come in there.
Oh, wow.
Try out new material, and that was a long time ago.
It's crazy, man. The first time I moved out to LA in 2015, and I lived there for a couple of years, and I got to go to the Comedy Store for the first time, and it it was like magic. It was like being for me, it was like being at Disney. Because I had been it was fucking nuts. And Sam Kinnison's best friend, Carla Bove, I was friends with, and he was the one who took me to the Comedy Store. So it was like basically the guy who's like been there since the beginning. Was like, let me show you around.
But yeah, the Comedy Store, I didn't, and you know, I've always passed the Laugh Factory. Was it, and what was the one more towards the west? I think Santa Monica. Is that the Laugh Stop, or
Laugh Stop? I don't know if it's there anymore, but yeah, the Laugh Stop is there. There's the comedy, the Ice House in Pasadena, which was fun to do, and Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa. Like those are like always the big ones, and then the Improv.
Oh right, the Improv. Yeah.
Those are always one. It was weird doing stand up in California, because like over here, at least in New York, you can just bounce from club to club to club to club to club and not big.
Right.
But you know, over there, you're like, hey, do you want to go do another club 5 fucking hours away?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's no joke having to have to drive here sucks. I mean, like what would normally be a 5-minute drive anywhere else in the country will usually take a half hour. You know, or at least 20 minutes. You know? Right. It's awful.
So other than the fact that musicians get laid more than comedians, what talked you out of being a comedian and into a musician?
That was just, I think, you know, like something, you know, that it was a pipe dream when I was younger, you know, like what do you want to do? I remember in high school, they would start asking you then start planning on what you want to go to school for, you know, especially being in a Filipino family. Right. You know, and I remember saying to my mom, I saw Ozzy back then, and it was real. It just blew my mind, you know.
Yeah.
And I was a big AC/DC fan, big Aerosmith fan, Hendrix, Zeppelin, but I saw one of my first concerts was Ozzy, and I saw Randy Rhoads. And I was like, I was already playing guitar then, and like that's something I could do.
Nice.
You know what I mean? That's something I could, without having to talk and really expose myself, the inside of myself, like you guys do. You know, like I can do this. You know, without without feeling too threatened and being in fear and
right. Was the guitar the first instrument you played?
No, I played. Well, I started on piano, and then trumpet.
Oh wow!
In high school, and then I picked up guitar in somewhere early high school.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So the rock star part of life started before any of the partying started. So you were musically in depth before.
Yeah, you know, it's weird. Like I started drinking and using drugs at a pretty early age. I started music then too, but I didn't get wrapped up in. I wasn't a blackout kind of drinker until my 20s, but yeah, I mean, I was. I got serious with guitar in a very cliche way. A girl left me for another guy.
Wow.
And I spent the summer. That's where my work ethic began. Was born. You know, like I really I felt betrayed by everybody, so I just stayed home and I woodshed. I did all the homework, and I did it without, YouTube. YouTube is this kind of endless wealth of information, like the fast track for anything you want to learn, and I didn't have that, but I had one teacher in my town that knew how to play like I wanted to play. He played like he could play anything from Jimi Hendrix to B.B. King to Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen to, like he could cover it all.
Wow.
And so that's what I spent my, my high school years really. And then I said to myself, by the time I'm 18, I want to be out in California, trying this for real.
Do you remember your first band and your first paid gig?
Oh, I was 15. Wow, I haven't thought about that in forever. But yeah, our dads took us to the gig.
Oh, nice.
I think we made like $50 or something like that. But it was we played all covers, and it was on Wednesday at a place called Haymakers. But yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, I didn't start getting paid for gigs till way later. I don't remember, like even on tour with Kiss and Aerosmith or touring, it's what they usually give baby bands is about $500. You know what I mean? Or even $250 back then. It's enough for gas.
Holy shit!
And to get you to the next city.
I never knew that.
There's you guys, and usually one other guy is one or two other guys. One to drive the van, sell merch, and another sell merch or help you set up the gear. Like we were up there at Madison Square Garden. Setting up our own gear, like, okay.
Wow.
And then go back and change, like, come on, what's up, That's how we did that shit.
That's so crazy, man.
That's something that I feel like people, young people now think you go straight to like superstardom because it's like an instant feel, whereas you put your time in.
Some do, but like it's different now. Like you can be super famous now just because of just from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like I have a 7-year-old and there's these internet superstars that he follows that have, like unbelievable numbers.
Yeah.
And they're like 14 years old.
Yeah, it's wild.
And they're not leaving their house.
Yep.
And
the craziest thing is too is like I don't even like I feel like the industry to some extent doesn't even know how to quantify anything anymore either, because it's like, if you've got a decent following on one of those platforms, and I don't have as big as most people do, but I have a decent following. But sometimes I'll go to these clubs who don't know me, and they're like, well, what kind of following do you have on, Instagram? And I'm like, well, they're not all in Boise, fucking Idaho. So I don't see why that, like, just like,
right.
Do you think I'm funny? Do you not think I'm funny? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't always, but it's weird when like the kid, like, God, I can't believe I'm saying this sentence because I am old officially, but the kids, if you're in high school now, it doesn't take much to get 7,000 followers, because if your entire high school is following you, that's it. Yeah. And all the, it's just fucking wild. I don't understand it either, but it blows me away.
Yeah, it's funny when Buckcherry came out with the 15 album. It was 2005, and the internet wasn't as rampant and as vast as it is now. And we released a song. Every label had passed on us twice.
Wow.
And we were damaged goods. We were older, we were older in our 30s.
Right.
And the band had gone away. They had a deal and gone away, and lost members. And then it was reformed, and we released a song on a platform called MySpace. You could put a song up there and it had a little counter, and we did this video at the basement of the Key Club. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Yep.
We did it for practically no money. We had to. And I remember posting it, and our manager at the time was like, this thing is going viral. I was like, viral? That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. We were watching the counter, it go from 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, but by literally we were in the hundreds of thousands in 24 hours. Wow. And we were in the millions within a week, let's say, and then that whole platform went away,
Yep.
and then a few years later, I get on Instagram, and I'm having problems, getting my followers over 10,000, where a minute ago, there was a million, we were one of the there's also like record sales, for rock are in the toilet, you can have 5 million followers, but no one's selling any records. Well, maybe Justin Bieber, or the pop stars are, or a few of the hip hop guys, Travis Scott, but but barely any rock bands are selling,
Do you think
used to?
We've had a couple, bands and stuff like that kind of comment on this kind of thing, and to varying different opinions. But like, do you think it's worth doing the album, like a full album anymore, or do you think it should be dribbed out in singles now?
Well, I at the beginning of this record cycle, I was of the opinion to do it by singles, singles and videos.
Yeah.
And but we, we're one of the last rock and roll bands in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we decided to, and we got a new record deal. Larry Mazer found us a new home on Round Hill in Nashville, and they wanted to put out a full-length album.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And we went, and so far, but the way we're treating it is that, and we didn't, and I'm going to give you the whole business model right now. We didn't treat it like the business models in previous years. We went straight to the consumer, just like any other product.
Right.
So instead of going to radio, which you would pay, let's say, $30,000 a month to promote your song, to a public, we went just straight to the public on our own social media platforms.
Nice.
And we started selling out of, like our vinyl, like we've sold out of several runs of vinyl. Our spins are up for us. Our numbers, they're not Justin Bieber numbers, or Ed Sheeran numbers, but
right.
Like for a rock band, like that's all we need to then hit the road and have lines down the block. So if we start touring in June, and half the shows are sold out for us, we win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's a good point too. I mean, do you feel like, because I feel like it's got to be more about the live performance than anything else. As long as you're out there doing those shows, are you guys happy?
Yeah, I mean, it's someone asked me, what's your idea of success? And it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can tell you that my idea of success when I was a teenager was the excessive rock and roll MTV, and we hit that, we hit that when, at 15. But the way the world is now, just having a career, in my opinion, for 20 years is success.
Yeah.
We were just told a few months back that we sold 2 more million of Sorry, a single we had, Sorry, 2 more million of Crazy Bitch, nice. And another million of the album 15, and we had no idea, wow. when you think, like what's going on in the world, man? What is my career doing? If you just stick kind of, like you keep at it, you know, because people were coming to the shows, you
Yeah.
know, like if you came to any one of the shows on this Hellbound tour, it was a good number of them for us were sold out.
Nice.
And so I don't know. It's a different place now. You know, we're still here. We're still enjoying what we do.
Yeah.
So,
well, especially like you said, post-pandemic though too, the audience is really like I feel the same way even about going out doing stand-up. They seem to be at a higher level. They're just enjoying being out. They're starving for entertainment and stuff. So, and you know, and I think it all put a lot of stuff into a different perspective too, because I was just happy to get back out there and be almost anywhere, you know, as long as we were allowed back out.
Yeah, it's weird. Like we were up in Canada for a little while, and they're really strict.
Oh, really?
You know, like they're you know, you would go to, let's say, South Dakota, where they never had a mask mandate,
right?
You know, and I'd be wearing a mask just going into the gas station to, you know, get something, and people would be looking at me like, you know, like mask shaming me, and I'm like, fuck you, man. I don't know what, you know, like, I don't know, you know, like sometimes I just wake up and I have to play that game, you know, what city are you in? You know, because I don't, you know, like it makes tour longer when you know, okay, today we're here and tomorrow we're, you know, like,
right.
So, you know, like, and if I have to do the homework on like, where are we at with the masks and vaccines, and, you know, like, and in Canada, you have to have your vaccine card on you.
Wow.
And you have to have a mask with you at all times to get in everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's interesting. It's going back into New York. I kind of forget when I go into the restaurants and stuff that they'll come right up to your table and be like, "Can I see your vax?" Which I don't always mind because I'm just like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Yeah. That makes me feel. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. If you don't have it by now, fuck you. You know. But it is funny, like the different when you go to someplace else though, and they never ask. There's no masks on. They never check. You kind of just forget. And you're like, oh my God, am I that guy? Like, am I now the oddball out? How did I become the bad guy? I've been wearing
but like, you know, it's no secret that, you know, a lot of our crowd, we play a lot of biker events, and they're definitely
not meant.
You know, they're not masking. They're fuck the man. You know what I mean?
Which is funny because they wear those you know, they have the handkerchiefs all the time. Like, a couple inches more, buddy, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm not gonna wear it because you're telling me to wear it, brother. Right. You know?
Exactly.
So, you know, like they'll rent space on you know, like a few acres of land, let's say, and police it themselves. The police are not allowed in there.
Wow.
And, you know, like people, I mean, it can get pretty gnarly up in there.
That's incredible. Do you guys have to figure out like an escape? Are you guys ever like concerned where you're? Oh, you do? Holy shit!
Oh yeah,
that's nuts, man.
I remember like you know, like there's this mafia run place. We were just talking about it, and it was up by you. I'm not going to say the name of the place.
Okay.
But it's in Jersey.
Yeah.
And one of us was sick, and I'm not going to tell you who it was. And at the last minute, he's like, I can't go on. You know, like, right, okay. And our tour manager at the time went into the manager's office, and he literally leaned over and was like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you better figure something out. You know, like because it's like because there's only you're in the. He's like, you basically told us you're in the back of the parking lot,
right?
And there's only the exit is at the other end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a forest. There was a forest right next to on one side of the club, and like a huge junk car lot. You know, like you don't know. There was like probably thousands of bodies on both sides. You know what I mean? You know, like no one's ever gonna find.
Yeah,
But,
holy shit.
But yeah, not normally. You know, like we've done a few. I don't know what do they prefer? Not bike gangs, I guess motorcycle club events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're cool, they're cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes it's
So
surprising, like no matter where you go. My I tour with a friend of mine, and she's she's gay, she's got a wife and everything, so she obviously, I always have my leather jacket on and all that other crap, and I've beard, dark hair, long hair. So but when we go to the Midwest states, it's hilarious because we'll walk in a restaurant or wherever they are, and it's literally like out of a movie where they just look at you like, we don't like strangers here, like that kind of a thing. So you're like, oh god,
you're a big city boy, huh?
yeah, exactly.
Your
I'm
leather
like,
jacket.
fuck, why do I wear this shit? And then but we did this one gig in the middle of nowhere, and we got there, and it was kind of creepy, but we were like, whatever, and then we looked on stage, and in Christmas lights, a giant fucking American flag, and we're like, that's probably not a good thing. But we're like, let's not be judgy though, maybe it's like whatever. So then we're kind of like looking around, and then like people start to pile in, and it's fucking whiter than white, and we're just like, all right, yeah, sure, we expected it. And then I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom, and there's a sign that's on like in between the two restrooms, and it basically just has a list of shit that you're not allowed to wear. And it was like no colors, no do-rags, no what, like no backwards hats. It may have well just said, you do not be black. And so
right.
Yeah. And so like the two of us are looking at each other like, okay, so we're gonna bomb here. And and I was just like, I think I'm just gonna go for it, but keep the car running. And then I went on stage, and the first thing, there was one black couple sitting in the back, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna do it for them, and then I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So I got on stage, and I go, listen, I just want to say it's lovely to perform in the town from Get Out. And only they laughed. And I was like, okay.
Right. So thanks and good night.
Yeah, exactly. But it gets fucking weird, man. They did not like it. Like there was a couple places where like I did Phoenix once too, and a dude, I couldn't leave the club because a dude didn't like that I was making fun of the president. So he waited for me outside, and the owner was like, yeah, he's an ex-Marine, so you need to just chill here for a bit. And I was like, wow, not a problem. But the funny thing is he was so mad, he actually left his date. So I was talking to her in the club, and I was just like, I don't think he's coming back.
Wow, you're talking with her. That's crazy.
Yeah,
like I think I'm grateful. When people are coming to see my band, they know what they're getting. Right. You know what I mean? They're not blindsided by anything. And sometimes we play with other bands that kind of say dumb shit. We played Sturgis. And Smash Mouth had played like literally hours before and took all the heat for all this stuff. Like we just needed to get out and play because we need at that point in time the lockdown was in full swing, and we needed to get creative to feed our families.
Of course.
I was gonna start robbing banks. So
you got the mask.
And it was mandatory. So I think the crowds like we kind of get screened before like they listen to the music and they know what they're getting into.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I like, if anything, like our crowd, we were talking about this before. I think in general, the rock crowd leans right. You know what I mean? And I think, I don't know, a lot of our crowd is just fun loving, beer drinking. We do great in the South. We do great with the bikers. We do, so, and I think when we play it, no matter which way you favor. I think it's what I've seen on this tour is everyone wants to just get out and have a good time.
Yeah,
it's unifying. Yeah, it brings them together.
And even and that's a fun thing too, is like I feel like, you know, music and even comedy too, like I feel like people can just go out and have a good time regardless of whatever. I've been all over, like even the Midwest and stuff like that too. There's some places you think are going to be a certain way, and they're just out to have a good time, and everybody can take a joke, and it's fun. It's only the weirdos, you know what I mean, and whatever. But even music, like especially, is very unifying. I don't care who you're sitting next to. If you're having a good time and you're singing the same song and you know whatever, that's the best. You know, you can't beat that.
I sometimes, like when we're in, let's say, not a how do I say this politically correct? You know, not in an A market. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Maybe below the anyway. You know, I grew up in Chicago, and you know, it's pretty diverse. You know, I'm a Filipino guy walking around. I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes when this is just for me, and I walk in and I see, you know, horns on above the bar, and a big American flag. What else? You know, a big a deer head, a bison head over there. You know, it's a lot of hunting stuff. I'm like, and it's usually, you know, like, you know, we were playing C markets, so you know, there's going to be, you know, it'll hold 2,000 people, but like a lot of country acts play there.
Yeah.
So I can, you know, I honestly say I go in, I put my head down, and I just rock out as hard as I fucking can. You know what I mean? And and then I realize, oh, no one gives a shit.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you know, and everything that I'm, you know, thinking, I'm just kind of, I'm writing that negative narrative in my head, you know, and before I'm actually just experiencing it. So,
right.
I don't know.
It makes sense sometimes. It's a safety, you know, you do kind of go like, oh, fuck, you got to be more aware or whatever. And then sometimes you're like, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, it's because, you know, those fucking movies, you know, like, and you know.
My friends and I just stayed in a place. Speaking of those movies, we went to, you know, every summer we go and we find like a place in the mountains. You know what I mean? Like Airbnb, we all get together. But we rented one, and when we got in, it was that same exact thing, like just animal heads all over the place. And we were like, should we be checking the fucking showers for camera? Like what? Like, you know, like there's, you know, 5 liberals in a house in the middle of the mountain. Like, do they look us up on Facebook? Do they know who we are? We got this pretty cheap. So yeah, it was really weird. My friend, do you know Jessica Kirsten? She's a really funny comic.
I don't know.
She's really, really funny. She's hilarious, but she always says she used to give us advice like back in the day, but she'd be like, you know, whenever I go, she's also married to a woman, she's gay, and she's just like, she goes, whenever I'm in those states, man, I love red meat and I love sucking dick. She's like, I don't look for any. She's like, I don't want to die.
Right.
It fucking kills me when you say shit like that. It's
so
true,
just kind of roll with it.
Yep, head down. Is there, so when you were coming out of the pandemic and stuff like that, like were you guys into the streaming, the doing the stuff online? Like, did you do anything like that? Like,
we tried a couple. We had a show somewhere in the Midwest, had a camera crew come out, and it was okay, you know. Like I ended up producing at home, and you know, tweaking all the sounds. It was a lot of work, but I think where we thrive is, you know, just, or at least where I'm more comfortable, is just going in and doing the show. You know, if it turned into, you know, like we had a lot of offers to do acoustic sets from home, Buckcherry at home, and that's just not really our thing.
Yeah.
Although we've done it. We've done plenty of, at radio stations in the mornings. And that's a ton of fun.
I would love for you guys. Yeah, always. Oh my God, yeah. I would love to just like if you want to be tortured on the road, try doing it at home.
Oh man,
great.
I mean, I remember in 2019, I had a lot going on at home, and I was always gone. And all I wanted to do was be home with my son. Making sure he was okay, and be careful what you wish for. So I got another year. I got a year and a half of every fucking minute of being here, and we switched gears, and there's a lot of writing and recording. This is actually the studio space here.
Nice.
And they were trying to I don't know, maybe try and figure out a way to make shows happen from home. And I saw a lot of them, and what it was missing was that audience interaction.
Right.
It's like the comedian without the audience, and you need that audience reaction there to make it all work, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Builds you up.
Yeah, like even when I see guys on YouTube, the YouTubers that just kind of demo gear, it's cool to see them shred, but like when there's they're missing that whole live thing.
Yeah.
And I'll watch about 30 seconds and I'm like,
same.
But if I'm watching a Rage Against the Machine video live in Buenos Aires, I'm like this, and I'll watch the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there's a palpable energy, like a real energy that comes from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I got my. It's so weird that you say that.
Hang on one second.
Sure.
What time is your flight now, Tom? How long you been?
I'm watching. Trust me, I'm on it. The first one was actually a meeting that we were having earlier today, and I was like, I couldn't believe that I turned around and the flight was gone, and I'm like, no, we got time. We're getting close to our time, but I have just enough time to get through TSA.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, as long as you got TSA.
Yeah.
You can blow right through that line. That's good stuff.
You should do it with Steve, with us on. Just go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
They'd appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Sit in the cockpit.
You know what? Why don't you grab that ramen place and do your minute review, 3-minute review.
That'd be great.
We'll just start all this now.
Awesome. Perfect.
I fucking love it. I was gonna say I would love. How great is it? Like when there's a national tragedy, which is not a great way to start a conversation, but hear me out.
Dude, what, dude? Come on.
But because you said
I want to tell people about this, broadcast.
No, but I'm just here.
So let's go to national.
But wait,
there was a mass shooting.
I just love how I respect that you were like, acoustic's really not our thing. We did it, but whatever. Because it's funny when something like one of those things happens, and then you'll see somebody do a really slow song, a slow version of their song to try to contribute. You know what I mean? I think Bon Jovi did Jack and Diane, but slowed down. It's like, dude, that's not a sad song. You know what I mean? That would be. You guys should do a parody the next time.
Little tune by Jack and Diane. I don't know. I don't love Bon Jovi anyway.
Yeah,
but
you guys need to do a slow down version of Crazy Bitch for a national tragedy. Let's see if you
God,
that would be hilarious.
We did, over at Sirius, we did just a few acoustic songs, and the DJ's in a whole different room. They gave us that studio.
Nice.
And there's cameras in there and mics, and it's like. And then you end the song's like silence. It's like this next one is it's really uninspiring.
Oh my god.
You know, like when you're live, if you've seen any live footage of us, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that's, I don't know. I don't know. It's inspiring and fun, and
I had to stop telling people.
I love to play.
Yeah.
You know, no matter where it is. You know, even if it's just here at my house. But
yeah,
I don't know if we're doing it for Buckcherry. I think there needs to be an audience.
Totally.
You know?
I used to hate when I would do stand up in the very beginning, and I would go on these radio shows and morning shows, and they'd be like, "Why don't you do some of your act?" And I'd be like, "No."
you hear those stories of, like, Aziz Ansari hanging out with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And or just anybody. Maybe you hanging with a few friends. Dude, get up. Everyone's partying, drinking. You get up and tell a few jokes. It's like,
yep. My ex-girlfriend's dad used to do that to me at their family gatherings. They'd be like, "He's hilarious." And I'm like, "I'm not telling dick jokes in front of your 93-year-old grandmother. Like, that's insane."
Oh, that's so funny.
Nuts. Yeah, you would just get plastered and be like, "Go do a couple of your things." Yeah, exactly.
It's long. It's not long, but it's thin.
Yeah.
Grandma.
I love that we just came full circle. I got to thank you for coming on. I got 2 more questions I got to ask that we ask every guest that's on the show. The first one is, if you can go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself that would help you today?
Are you a sober guy?
No, I drink socially.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. I didn't drink throughout the pandemic because if I'm not with people, I don't like doing it. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have been a drunk mess. You know, I talk to my I think about that scenario a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what would I tell my younger self? You know, and you've heard it from other people, but it's like, you got to trust. You got to trust. You got to, like, do your best. Learn how to be great for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do your best, and it's it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. It always does. It always does.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Agreed. And the last question is, what had to end in your life for you to wind up where you are today, good or bad? And it doesn't have to be career-wise either. It could be personally or whatever.
Wow. You know what? I had to, I know this sounds weird, but I really did love drinking, and I really did love to do all that stuff. And I had to stop. I had to stop everything in order for my life to start working. Yeah. You know?
Did you have like a coming to?
Oh, what's that? One more time?
Yeah, he'll be back in a second. He froze at the worst time.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm sorry. Of course. I was saying, did you ever like a real?
And then a plane goes. All right, one more time, Tom. I've got you.
No worries. I was gonna say, did you have a real coming to God moment, like where you were like, "This is it. This is why it has to end." Like, did you have a moment that really stuck to you?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, like, I at the very end, there was 2 ambulance visits for me. So, and I just didn't know how to stop. And, that's that foxhole prayer moment that a lot of drunks have. It's like, God, I don't know how to do this. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever, like, I grew up, I'm not a religious guy, but I grew up going to church, and it's like, it just I started praying. And, so yeah, it's that come to Jesus moment, that you hear about. I had it. I don't have a lot of white light experiences, mine are more the educational variety, but, yeah, I mean, I think in order for, you to experience something, some kind of like profound change, something spiritual has got to change too first.
Yeah,
Cool,
and I feel like you really embrace it. Like you had to go through it to be who you are. So it's not like you would I would take that away from you. Yeah.
Yeah. I was and would be somebody completely different had I stayed on that path. And I wouldn't be talking with you fine gentlemen right now.
Oh, very
true.
good. True. Very true, man.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on, man, and spending time with us Thanksgiving Eve. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope your family's healthy and safe.
You too.
And we will plug Hellbound, man. That's great. That's an awesome album.
Yes.
I'm glad it's out there. And
thank you.
I hope to come see you live.
Yeah, man. It's such an honor. Thank you again.
Yeah. I hope you get home.
Me too.
All right, gentlemen.
Otherwise,
thank you
planes,
for having
trains,
me.
and automobiles too.
Yes. All right. Peace out.
Thanks so much.
Love you guys.
Have a great one.
All right.
Bye.
Dystopia tonight.